Jimmy Hendrix started. Bill, can you somebody's over there. One of those are on.
Meeting to order, could we stand, please?
Can somebody just, your power, everybody shut off everybody's mic right now and mute it.
Turn it off. I don't know.
Everybody got your mic muted?
Not that,
Not it.
That was it?
No, it's muted.
they're all turned off.
That sounds better. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the privilege of being here. We pray that you've gained oversight commissions, that we pray that you give us wisdom and the ability to make wise decisions and do your will.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Turek, would you do the roll call, please?
Lynch. Here. Weiner. Here. Potter. Here. Schlicker.
Here.
Canuck.
Yeah.
Turek. Present.
Okay, we have approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make one adjustment. Public comment that needs to be moved above presentation. And the 2 minutes is on agenda items only.
Okay, public comment moved up before any presentations. Is that all right with everyone? Okay,
I would second that.
okay, we'll move public comment up to before we have any of the presentations. We need approval of the minutes for the August 22nd board meeting. Pardon? Oh, to move it.
Yeah.
All in favor of moving
Aye.
it? What do you
Any
call it?
opposed?
Opposed, yes. Okay, we'll put the public comment up before the presentations. Okay, now we need approval of the minutes of the August 22nd board meeting.
I will make a I'll make a motion. Nothing, right?
Nothing. Just talk louder. You're fine.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Chuck?
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we need a motion to accept the minutes of the September 15th board meeting.
I would make a motion to accept the minutes of September 15th and September 19th.
I'll second it.
Who seconded? From?
Both of us.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? And we need a motion to accept the minutes of the September 9th.
We did both of them.
Oh, we did them both at once? Okay, all right. Okay, we'll have public comment now, limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and the township
On agenda items only.
Yes, on the agenda items only. Anyone wishing to make a comment?
Pam McKinnon, I'm curious as to the September 15th and 19th meetings.
I can't hear.
What kind of meeting was that?
I believe that was a personnel issue.
Okay,
Well, we're not engaged.
Oh. Anyone else?
Good morning, Margaret Katsera, Haynes Township. It's good to see you all again. I've been away for a while. And I'm not sure if you had voted at all at any one of your meetings to have the scale put into our local newspaper so that all of Alcona residents can see that. It's very nice, and I think it would be a very positive thing. So I'm inquiring and I'm supporting the idea of putting that in our local newspaper.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I think we'll turn things over to Andy Shaw, our developer and construction manager.
All right, thank you, Dolores. So I'm just gonna give a little recap as to what's happened since the last meeting about a month ago. And as far as site work goes, we've been continuing to move earth and flatten the site. And we found 2 additional burial, just debris burials. And it's been, it just keeps adding a little bit of time, but we're at the 99.9% mark of being finished with the overall flat area, which is wonderful. And it's really interesting. About 6 weeks ago or so, we developed a grading plan. And, you know, just see these various lines, and you know how to read a topo map. And then it's really cool to actually see it come to reality. So now the site looks like the drawings that were designed about 6 weeks ago. So that's great. And then the endeavor to level the site, especially as Jonathan Lee goes through the site plan, you'll see it was really a good move. You know, you look back on things and from a 2020 hindsight perspective, and the way we handled the entrance and the flattening the site as it then relates to this site plan was I think a good idea. And then we've been back in the woods doing a lot of clearing, a lot of debris removal, and we're getting real close to locating the actual homes back there. We've got some gargantuan trees, you know, 3-foot diameter pines back there. And so we're really trying to just save the big, beautiful trees, the apple trees, and kind of just selectively meander through. And that's been a little bit of a, you know, 1 step forward, 2 step back kind of thing, because we think, oh, you know, we can get some houses this way, and then we will find, for various reasons, maybe a drainage swale or what have you, that now we got to go over here. So we're real close to locating those 8 homes, and I think people are going to be blown away how beautiful it is back there. It's really stunning, and we keep staying away from the back of the hardware store and the back of Dollar General. It's like, why look at the back of that when you can otherwise look at the forest to the back? So that's real close. And in fact, afterwards, Jonathan and Jacob and I are going to head back and do a little walkthrough there. And then from a design perspective, there's quite a bit of interaction with various board members and with a lot of people, many people that work here at the ACCOA, and just getting all the desires down and incorporating what we can and making adjustments where we needed to. And then within that, from the last site plan, there was a lot of jiggling that had to go on just to meet travel distances for fire codes and various things like that, structural requirements. And I couldn't be more pleased. Jonathan and Jacob continue to amaze me. They're just, there's some other trades that know these fellows, and we joke around that you've got to have your ego in a good position, because 98% of the time, these guys come up with the best plan, you know, so. But we're really, I can't say enough how fortunate we are to have these guys, and they've incorporated, it's like, it just takes so much to synthesize all of the desires and demands. It's really a complicated undertaking, and these guys have really worked hard over the past month to get us to this point, which they're gonna present. And then we went over a few items last night, and so we just discussed about a couple of bathrooms and some windows to some offices and moving a family area around, and so minor things which would be incorporated into today's plan. And then Carolyn has spearheaded a groundbreaking, so if everything goes well today, we'll be setting the date and time for the groundbreaking, which is a nice formal ceremony, and we'll get to that in a little while. So that's what we've been doing. This process just takes a lot of interaction, from fire suppression tanks to, curtain walls that are maneuverable to floors and what have you. And so that's where we are. And then the last thing I'd like to close with is we went up and down as to there's two ways to do the steel. One is called a pre-engineered metal building. Those typically work better when you've got a big free span opening and when you're dealing with more of a rectangular space. The benefit is they're cheaper to do. The kind of downside is you just kind of inherently lose a little bit of style. And so we balance that, and where we are now, about 40% of the building, which is primarily the court area, will be pre-engineered metal building, and the balance will be a conventionally structurally engineered building. So we've had a good busy month, and so we're now next week we'll be doing the soil borings, and you do them actually underneath the actual footing locations for this building, and then that will then open the doors to designing the foundations and continuing with the structural design of the building. And so those are the big ones for us going forward. We got to get this steel final design, our footing final design, and start getting concrete in the ground. So, and then within that, after today, assuming everything goes well, then we'll cut loose the civil engineer as well. And then he'll be working on septic, water, the storm water, the actual grades, the precise grades of the parking lot. And then we're pricing curb and gutter. Curb and gutter is often a big number, and I doubt we're going to be able to afford to curb and gutter the whole thing, but we're probably use selective placement of curb and gutter to make it look snazzy, but if it's going around a corner and not really doing anything, it's a lot of money to burn. So it'll be the careful, the careful placement and use of curb and gutter to get the most bang for our dollar. And that's about where we are. So I think I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan and Jacob, and that's that, unless anyone has any questions.
Do these work, or should I just talk up?
They always say as close as you can to your mouth, and if that, you can turn the gain up on the button knob on the back.
Volumes in the back. Does that help at all? I think that. I'll talk up. How about that? My wife always accused me of talking too loudly, so. I'm pretty good at it, I guess. So, Jonathan Lee, I'm really pleased to be able to present to you the plan that we've really been working hard on back and forth with the community members here, and would really appreciate the opportunity to help you and to be able to work with you. Great team. The team is collectively all of us. We're trying to work together, and that's my goal and our goal, to figure out what the needs are and the benefits are of this building, so that it has years to be able to be useful and be productive in its use, and also be, how would I say, good stewards of the resources we have. So we're always kind of thinking of how a building can be beautiful, as well as functional, as well as economical in a way that is prudent with the resources we have. So we're always thinking about the engineered steel building versus the frame steel building and how that functions, and the best balance between those, so that those balances can just get the most out of the resources that were sort of allotted, if you will. So there's always this sort of tug of war between aesthetic and financial that goes in my head just constantly. So it's just a really, I come from a very
just simple background, and I'm very blessed to have that father that was a builder, and was a builder for Missions, and so I'm very familiar with making the best of what you got. It was a very great experience, and I cherished every hour, day, year that I spent with my mother and father overseas. So that being said, let's get into the building. Basically, you have Barlow Road here, if you can see this on the wall with the pointer, and you have the entrance here, and then this road that goes back to the housing, as well as the parking lots, front and back, and then you have this secondary service entrance on the back side here, which this is sort of back house, if you will. So being that you come to the front, we want to get to the front of the building. There's a couple access points. This is the main access point for the fitness center, gym, and pickleball to the north here. The blue is the basketball, volleyball, sort of multi-purpose function of athletics. Locker rooms, janitorial, and we're gonna be putting some bathroom here, and we'll make adjustment here as well. We'll switch in these rooms. But this is a classroom right now. This will be a family room, and then a classroom here, and a classroom here. Sorry, my hands shake so much, but it's like, I'm not that nervous. Hard to hold that little pen steady. This is men's and women's bathroom back in here, and then the offices and space here. Let's see, what's that one right there? Oh, this is a game room. So this purpose here is the fitness center. This is the athletic area of courts. And then the yellow is really the ACO, the main community space. Let me just keep going just a second here. On the big scale here, we have the administration spaces, offices along the front and whatnot, and then meeting rooms and different things I'll get into in a little bit. But you can sort of see the big space here. This space is about, well, this is 80 feet, and if you can imagine, this is 80 feet here, but it's only 45 feet, Jake, right? 49 feet across, and this is 60 plus across here. So I think it's 64 across here. So it's a little bit bigger, and we have overflow space here as well. But this seats, we'll get into the seating in a little bit. This also then has an outdoor space access. This can be set up with tents or whatever it needs to be and how you want to expand. If you ever had to expand, you would expand this direction in the space. Yeah, let's go to the next point then.
I'm sorry, where's the kitchen facilities?
Oh, okay, go back.
Well, you can see them in this one.
Well, let's go back to that other one, just so they're on the same. Sure. Okay, so the kitchen facility is right on back of house. So back of house is here in relationship to then the multi-purpose room dining space is here, and the event space. So you have dishes, kitchen and whatnot back along this area with refrigerators.
Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. So you have the service, again, kitchen, dishes, pantry, refrigerator, freezer, and the mechanical room space. And then back here, we have the garage that you can pull into. We put a semi here because there was some question that came up, can you bend a semi around in here? And yeah, you actually can do it with this system. But that's a full-size semi, and I don't think that's gonna be being pulled in here. That's oversized. Spaces for 5 pickup trucks or trucks here with storage behind it. These are under roof, like a carport area. So that gives you a sense of the spaces, I think. Sorry, I'm kind of in your way, I apologize. Yelling. So stay right here, this is good. This multi-purpose space / the community room here has an entrance of this direction so that this area can be entered and then gotten to the offices without going through this main lobby space. So it's kind of like, I don't know where it was dubbed or where I heard it, but we're separating the shorts and the suits from each other, so.
And if there's an event too, we can close down, there's some double doors at the end by that games room over there that we can kind of close down that area for events, so that they have their own entrance into it. But there's a rest of the house can still continue to play games or whatever needs to happen, go to the gym or whatever while the event is going on, and keep those two things separated from each other.
So the lobby space being the main entrance from the front, and then we also have a back entrance here from this back parking lot, because we couldn't put all the parking in one spot. All right, let's go to the next event. We kind of turned the plan because it's starting to get big and stale. I think we've kind of covered this, but again, this will just show you the layout of the pickleball courts in relationship to the basketball court with some bleachers on this side. Or if we've got a event, going on that would be a 3-on-3 or something that would happen. We also have it so that, it's just locker room. Yeah, we have these different layouts so that you have the pickleball across the top here, but then you can also change the layouts in these spaces that would have the courts, your 2 courts here, 2 volleyball courts here. You could actually set up a volleyball when the bleachers are out. That's what this is showing here. And this is showing a level that if you ever wanted to be on top of this storage area where we've got in this space, we could just put a few bleachers up there on top of the roof. Because of the ceiling height in here, we've got quite a bit of volume is how it would be useful. Just taking advantage of the volume, basically.
I've got a quick question. If you
Yeah.
get back to the pickleball courts.
Yeah, sure.
Are those are fixed pickleball courts? I mean, are they capable of being used for anything else? I guess my concern is you've got something specifically laid out here.
Right,
It's like, I don't see a whole bunch of racquetball courts anymore.
right.
That was really big back in the 80s, and, you know, I just don't want to have something,
Right.
you know where I'm
I can
going
see,
with
yeah, I
this?
see what you're saying. I guess, I mean, you could put a volleyball court in there. You can see there where that would fit in there. I tried to put a tennis court in there. It doesn't quite fit because it doesn't have the end zones you need. You need 25 feet on the end zones for tennis.
If I can jump in, Gary.
Yeah,
So really, this entire space is really meant with infinite latitude over time, right? And so in the future, let's just say a new sport comes out, right? And it's a circle, let's just say. And that's the new big thing. So the cool thing about this space and what they came up with are these big, retractable curtains essentially, right? And they're easy. I was working with a structural guy this morning, just a big cable. You can move them here, move them there, not a big deal. And so we can change the placement of the curtains and change the layout on the floor. But what you're always gonna have is this big, tall space, right? It's huge, almost 20,000 square feet. And I think that if we could fast forward 15 years, Sport X is there, and it's gonna be very little effort, changing some lines on the ground, getting whatever the thing is. So no, I think it's a really good point. And just to the spaces of any kind of label we can kind of address in the drawings. About the only thing that's not gonna be something else will be the kitchen, right? Kitchen, bathrooms, janitor, those are kind of fixed uses over time. But I think if you can just, forever, for me and for everyone, is just like, imagine anything you can come up with in any given thing. And just one last side note, in communicating with the people at the Aplex, they're finding all sorts of usage, right? Like she's open to kind of any idea. So they'll set up batting cages. They're getting these ball things that people like to roam around in, you know? And so it's really, the biggest idea is the more you keep it utilized, the more money you bring in the door and the more people get enjoyment.
No, but as I said, I just don't want to get locked
Oh,
into,
amen. Yeah,
that's my point.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that note, like you're saying, Andy, this was just showing the specifics of what we were asked to sort of lay in there to show that they fit at the moment, at present time.
The way the building will be built is that, like Andy was saying, that's one huge open space, save for that storage room. So it can be reorganized however it needs to be in the future as it moves forward.
Let's go to the multi-purpose room. There you go. So here's a room that is the community room, this space essentially. Obviously this space won't have, fitness equipment in it anymore. That will be in the other fitness room area. But this can be set up, say, like for an event, ceremonial event, say wedding, whatever, however that needs to be set up. But that gives you an idea of how you can fit in there basically 268 people in there. So it's a good sized space for a wedding for sure. And then this sits an arrangement of tables for 10 that are all around, and that will seat 200. And then here's for 120 seating. So that's a different, you know, when you have a buffet on the end or however those elements are set up. So that gives you a sense. Now the kitchen is here on this side of that space. The meeting room overflow space is here. And I can see where this room has a wall that is retractable and can be set up so that it has flexibility to it.
Andy was saying you have or we could get a portable stage. Can that portable stage be in this dining area and like in the pickleball court area and the basketball? Can that portable stage be taken any place we want it?
I would think so, because it should be on a cart or a wheeled stuff, you know. Yeah, we can look at how that stage,
Okay,
we should make a note of that, Jake, to find that as part of
but
it.
I mean, it would fit through doors or
Yes,
whatever.
right, yeah, right, absolutely, yeah. So you have the pairs of double doors all over the place, so it's 6 feet by roughly 7 feet.
What size of stage are you thinking that you would
If
want
I
to?
can, if I can jump in on that, Jake, so we're to a great stage company that's all they do is portable stages. They're various size components.
Mhm.
So what she is putting together a quote of, she's got the layouts and what have you, and so they know about the biggest stage they could possibly need, and you're not gonna have a rock band show up, you know, Rolling Stone's not gonna be up there, right? So, but a small musical group would, and so they're, you know, so they're setting up the right stage, but the biggest thing is they're really, really amazing. One, there's no tools required, so you can disassemble just by putting them together. And then all the pieces are fairly lightweight, so it's designed for a normal person to carry each component. And then when I was out in Alaska, we had a stage like this, and it was great. You know, the stage manager, maybe you would have like a catwalk, you know, for a kind of a fashion show, or maybe you'd have a play where you kind of wanted for children, you know, for something a little bit bigger area. So we're gonna get a stage package quote that'll have maximum flexibility, and it'll enable us to have varying size stages to kind of a maximum, and we're not gonna get crazy with that, you know, half the room kind of thing. And then all the things that come with it. So it comes with a couple sets of stairs, some side railings, some curtains and what have you. And then the packaging, that was one thing was really cool. So it comes with its own rolling cart. And then you're gonna kind of put it together, you know, put it on the cart for storage. You'll wheel it into the storage room. And then wherever it is you want it, you're gonna wheel it out and start putting it together kind of thing. So, yeah, really nice. I think, you know, you could have a small stage if you just were gonna have a single person singing and maybe playing the drums kind of thing, and you can just get those pieces out. Or if you're gonna throw down a big play with, you know, with whatever, you can get that out, but get the whole ball of wax. Or quite honestly, you could have a little stage over in one spot, a little stage over in another spot, you know? So it'll be, I think, the lady, so that's this company we're working with, Made in the USA, all USA aluminum. They have people out, and so many of these things we're getting suppliers that not only give it to you, but they have a good maintenance program. So I like talking to people that are like, yeah, we got good parts inventory, we have consistent pieces, and if something breaks, we can get it out to you, quickly. And so, well, yeah, even our curtain people, stage people, equipment people, really putting together, this is something I didn't mention earlier, we're getting this amazing team, right? So our structural engineer, soil engineer, electrical engineer, the team is coming together, and it really includes all these suppliers. So yeah, we're gonna have a great stage package, and almost for anything you can kind of dream up for the space, you'll have it, boom, just slide it right on.
Okay, so, again, let's go back just one step more here. So we have the flex space of the meeting room that heads out to the, below here on the site plan is where you have the outside space where the event could, have an outside gathering as well. And by the way, those stages could go outside then as well. So if they're flexible like that, you can kind of use them as you need to. So then we also have the craft room space here for sewing and whatever events that need to remain or like stay set up, and a storage space here. We'll work on sort of the storage space as it needs to be developed, but here it is in this space right in that zone for now.
How much occupancy is, I guess that would be my question, is the amount of people that would fit in those rooms. I mean, you probably got that for fire, right? So.
Yeah.
In each individual room?
Yeah.
That'll be based on code. We'll calculate that stuff as we keep moving forward, so that way each room has its own posted occupancy and whatnot, so that way we can.
I mean, I would like to know as far as, 'cause
How many,
how many
I don't-
individuals?
That space, well, I can tell you if you did it, if I did it, I'll tell you, well, let me do the calculation, I'll get that to you in a little bit here. I can tell you based on the occupancy load for, like, how you need it for the meeting room, for 15 feet per square person. For 15 square feet per person. Then up along this edge of the meeting space, you have what is now the administrative wing of the building for your group here. Yeah, let's go to the elevations, and I'll walk through those so you see what it kind of looks like. Again, if you can zoom in on the east elevation so that they can see it as much as possible. Yeah. So, the east elevation, yeah, perfect. So the east elevation here has an main entrance in the lobby space here. Just to give you a bearing point, this drawing up here is a design drawing so that I can transpose it down. And then this is part of the design drawing, I can transpose it up. And this is the community space wing. So this is roughly about 35 feet, 20 foot high walls, which can match up with these walls of the tennis and basketball court. And I'll show you why those have to be that high in relationship. These ceilings in here will be 12 feet tall in these lower wings in the area where the offices are, and slightly lower, 10 feet, so that we have mechanical systems and things that have to run through it. But this is the administrative wing right here in front, and it's facing north. But this gives you a sense of the entrance, the connectivity from the entrance to the basketball, pickleball, tennis, volleyball, blah, 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 in that space back there. And then the connectivity between the administration and the multi-purpose space. This is the elevation that faces the road, so it's kind of the most important presentation of the spaces. You have the road basically comes in on this facade right here as the entrance, and then drive around to the parking lot, which is in front of this portion of the building. This portion of the building is where we have the engineered building. So it's this big metal building to the north. And then as you drive around on the bank that Randy's created with his earth moving, this road takes us back to the housing and the back parking lot behind this building here. I say this building, I'm trying to create it as though it's pods of a building, but even though it's all one building, I'm breaking it up so that it breaks the scale down, so it doesn't seem so massive. And then outside of the multi-purpose room to the south, we have the outside event space that can accommodate some outdoor events. If you need to have a wedding inside, you can have the reception outside, vice versa, da, da, da. So however it wants to be utilized. All right? Then this is the opposite side, the west elevation. So this being the big portion of the building is the basketball and the tennis. Can you move that up just a touch? Move it up, yeah, so it's off those lines. There you go. The cinder block lines are getting me. So this is this is actually a storage. The storage room is right here. And I put a door in here so you'd have access to move equipment in and out.
If you do like Gus Mackers or anything like that in the parking lot, you can pull out the stanchions, basketball stanchions that way.
Yeah, so there's
Kind of gives you
again,
flexibility to use in the spaces in multiple different ways, the parking lots and whatnot.
then there's the main entrance to the backside is right here between the locker rooms and the fitness center. The fitness center is right here. That portion of the entrance is beyond, at the front of the building. But again, this is the back parking lot. And then down here is back of house service. And I know I've got some cleanup I gotta do down in here, but this is where the truck parking is. The storage space beyond the trucks where the pickups are overhang, but that's back of house entrance and loading and unloading. Let's go to, there we go. And then as we wrap around the building to the south, again, back of house that I just mentioned to you, so to get you located on center here with storage doors and the garage where you're gonna pull in with the truck so that you can do the delivery, for the hot meals. So that space is right there. Then again, this is a space outside here that potentially could be hedged in, so you're not seeing any of this, and you could have the access to the multi-purpose. This is the community building right here. That is the multi-purpose room, event center. And then the fitness center is this portion of the building back here. And then beyond is that big gable, that's the basketball and racquetball or racket facility. Coming back to the north facade. So we have an entrance here. This is the community event, multi-purpose room beyond. This is the windows and everything for the administrative offices along that, at the elevation of the building, looking out towards the parking lot. But we're gonna have a space here with trees and planting and whatnot on it. And the main entrance is here, along with a lobby behind it, the skylight in the center to bring in light so that we know I live in Michigan for a long time and understand that we have a lot of great days and we need a lot of sun, a lot of light, and we'll bring natural light in that way. It's good to have natural light on a lot of levels. Again, this building here is the steel building, and is the the basketball and racket and ball and all those different sports that are happening in here. Again, just the two entrances that go back, just if you don't mind, sorry, I led you to believe I was moving on. Sorry, so this is the entrance here, the main entrance again, and then the secondary entrance, sort of to separate the athletics from the community. event center. I think it's an important thing so that we can, so it doesn't have this issue of the, you know, coming in with shorts and also coming in for an event, say a wedding or something like that.
Jonathan, if I may,
Yeah.
you said the skylights on that peak there for light. I've been in buildings with skylights and, water condensation drips from them.
Okay,
Do we have, is there special glass that you put in there?
Yeah,
for Condensation?
yeah, we would have to talk about that with the mechanical person if we're gonna do that. This is the dream sort of
Okay,
thing,
all right.
and then we want that to be avoided. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If we have,
Safety reasons and different things.
absolutely, if we have to, put the windows, like I have windows in along here as well, in the sort of the clear story, if you will, to bring light in. And I'm just trying to get the light into the center of the building
Correct.
so that, but yeah, that concern will be of my concern too. Water is my enemy.
Yes, yeah.
And when water doesn't just come from rain, it just comes from the air.
Okay,
For sure.
no, I just
Totally,
question.
yeah, question and well noted and understood. We'll work with the engineers to make sure that we get the right heating and cooling and the right insulation factor there.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
I got just a quick question on the roof lines and
Yes.
anything else. My concern is, snow. I'm not sure at what point we'd have to start cleaning the snow off the roof. Is there provision for that?
So,
And, where's it going to go? Cause I mean, that's two
Yeah.
things.
so, we don't want the snow to fall off the roof, okay? I'll tell you, first of all, we have to engineer a roof to handle all maximum load, 90-pound snow loads, basically, between 70 and 90. It depends on if you're on the lee side of the building or the other side of the building. The lee side being the back side of the wind side where it drifts, right? So that load will have to be calculated and they put it through a process, we put it through the engineering process of determining where those areas are. And that is determined by prevailing winds, essentially. And we have maps that the engineer uses so that we can determine that. Now, you say, well, that's a slope roof and that's gonna be a metal roof, probably. And that's, well, the snow slides off, right? Well, I really can't because for insurance purposes and for safety reasons, we put snow guards on here that keep it from moving. And we really don't want the snow to fall off and do damage. That's just.
And even on the flat roof, we won't need to remove it. We'll calculate those loads so that it carries, that you don't have people up there shoveling snow off or anything like that.
They've changed the snow loads in schools. They've changed the snow loads, our requirements, because of the snow collapses, because of schools that were built in previous snow load requirements. The snow loading has changed over the years because we get more rain saturation into the snow, which makes it heavier. Snow is light, rain is bad. Rain and snow mixed basically makes a big giant sponge sitting on your roof. So that concern will be taken up with the structural engineer. Absolutely, yeah. We can't have snow sliding off and we can't have snow caving in. That's not good. Okay, so duly noted. Fair enough. Okay, so, yeah, this is the section. So, so basically I just showed you what the north elevation was, where you have the entrance and the main entrance with the lobby space right here at the joint of the building, essentially, the knuckle of the building. And then what I've created here is a section cut. Actually, could you pull up on that section? Now that you're familiar with where you are located, I basically cut right through the building and said, you know, here's the entrance over here. And then this is cut a slice right through the building, showing you the roof, the insulated roof, paneled system, the insulated wall system, and then basically the structure inside and all the open volume space internally. This is basically 22 feet from this line here to the floor. And then this is essentially 35 feet to the ridge. Give you a rough number there. So that gives you an idea. And then these circles, what they represent is the mechanical systems that will have to be on basically uncoiled ductwork that will supply air and return to the spaces. So your supply of heating and cooling. And we have an entrance here for the locker rooms on each end, and we also have the entrance to the space to the back to the entrance. And then if you go to the section B, which is the section through the community space, essentially we've taken here where you have the entrance for the community space with an airlock in it, and the other spaces have airlocks too, so we have an 8-foot gap between the outside and the inside to basically be performed efficiently in our mission, regulate the weather, regulate the temperature, evenly. A little lobby here with coat hanging and whatnot in this space before you enter then into this nice space for the community event room. And then this is the space beyond the crafts area.
Correct, meeting room.
And the meeting room on this wing, sort of shedding off of this main roof. And these are trusses inside, and there's only 5 of them, so that it will be really spaced out with purlins. Purlins are the structural members, and we'll go over all that with the structural engineer for sizing and whatnot. And the material as well. We haven't settled on material yet, but we're working on that. These spaces here will be conventionally framed trusses, as well as this will be conventionally framed trusses for efficiency and effectiveness of budget and whatnot. And then this is just showing an outside tent setup for the outside space. I think it can be a tent, it can be anything, or just open space. That's just the open space that's leading off of the community room, so you can have double uses. And that kind of shows the whole picture of the thing that we've developed in this process and in the design. And we've been working a little bit of midnight oil or late evening oil, and get the lamps out and go to work. And thank you for your time, and I'll take any questions you guys have if you want to figure out some thoughts. Or do some things.
So what we're looking for, at this stage, so the site plan basically was covered last time, it hasn't really changed much. And then the biggest thing I wanted everyone to see today was the layout of the main layout area. Like, take the kitchen, for instance. There's a company that specializes only in the kitchen. They'll specify every little component, the electric, all that kind of stuff. They're a separate contract, and we've got 5 proposals in right now. We'll probably select one. And then we'll work closely with ACC, and they'll actually have a separate person dedicated to our job. And so that'll be the next thing. Now, that's a lot of money, right? So that's going to the next level. And really, so what we're looking for today is just, hopefully everyone's grooving on the layout, the elevations and the site plan. And then we're gonna start, to the next level of drawings, right? So these guys will really start going to cross sections and details of how the glass fits in and all those kinds of things. And the plans will continue to evolve, and I'll keep bidding on every iteration. Just allows us to get more and better numbers, right? So that's where we're going. So hopefully, I guess the goal today is just maybe some kind of motion where you'd really just approve the floor plan, elevations as they are, and the site plan, and we're just gonna keep the show rolling.
I will make that motion that we approve the site plans, the floor plans, the building plans with the elevations as presented.
Bill seconded.
Are there any discussions?
I just have a question. We're not buying any equipment for like the fitness center. We're not authorizing.
No, everything's bidding right now. The next big real purchase will be the steel building. We're getting close with this, because these drawings we really just got, And so I'll be getting that out. I start off probably like 20 steel building companies. We're really just down
But
to.
I'm just for clarification,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not voting on any equipment
No,
coming in
no,
right
we're
now.
still.
We're just voting on the shell of this building
Correct.
and just trying to get all the shell put in place
Yeah,
so that you can continue from there.
yep, superstructure,
Okay.
yeah.
I do have a quick question. Do you people, estimate what it might cost to heat this huge building or the air conditioning in
Yeah,
this building?
Yeah,
Is
I
there
can just tell
any
you.
way to predict that?
oh, yeah, I got a lifetime of running buildings. I can give you some quick numbers. So historically, right now, we're about to sign an insurance policy for the construction, which is more expensive. Obviously, that's gonna be about 26,000, it's about 50 cents a square foot. Going forward, the insurance cost will probably be in the 15 to 25 cents a square foot neighborhood, so that's the insurance for the building. The lighting, the electrical loads have continued to go down. It's really remarkable. So the electric bill should not be that much. I mean, I'm guessing you're gonna be 10 cents a square foot. You'll probably see a $600-700 electrical bill, depending on what month of the year it is. And then on the heating, those have been round numbers in the 20 cents a square foot neighborhood. So you're gonna see probably about a $1,400 heat bill, on average. Depends if you go to the balanced one or not. I'd recommend doing that actually. They need about a year's worth of data. But the one thing to know is that in this phase, we're working with the HVAC contractor, the insulation levels on the building, and we've got these various tranches. And basically what we do is we say, okay, what's the smartest thing? Do we add more insulation here that allows us to shrink the size of the unit and therefore operate more efficiently? We've basically got some computer programs that'll put us at just the right balance point. And so that's where it's gonna be. But the biggest thing is on a building like this. So for instance, I'm used to taking, if I'm investing 12 billion in a building, whatever it is, an office building, a hotel, a retail, I'm looking for a return of at least $1 million, right? And that's generally what you'd be shooting for. So as I look at 50,000 square feet, it should be able to generate $10 a square foot in revenue, which is 500 grand a year. And so, yeah, we should, the longevity of the operation of the building is going to become, it's just going to be a function of how well it's administered and managed. And so the time will come, not now, but before we finish, and the right person running this thing with a smart eye is going to make a huge difference, right? Because you're going to want 10 big events per year at least, bringing in 10 grand a pop. We're going to want a nice base of people that are paying to use this place for various reasons and various entities. You may have a deal with the school, a deal with, various entities to, okay, we're going to rent this place out for 2 hours a week and they're going to pay this much money and it's going to be a good deal for everybody. So the wise generation of revenue over time is just, I call it a building manager role. And whatever I've built in the past, that's what there's always someone, and that person, generally, ideally, you're gonna have a person that is the building manager. So they're gonna be looking at all the normal, typical operations, hiring the landscaper, securing the snow removal company, making the deals to keep, and then they've got a woman up in at the Aplex, and I love talking to her because she talks about it, she's my Aplex. I'm bringing these people into my building, and that's how she sees it, and then when you talk to her, there's no idea that she won't explore. And if she can get, $500 coming in for 4 hours on this day for doing that, it's coming in. And since she's been there, it's been a radical change, but you need that person that gets it, because it needs to be, you just need as many things as going on. The way this lady speaks is that it's just maximum utilization for the maximum amount of the time and maximum revenue. And then it's that whole thing when you're in a nice positive spiral, got all this dough coming in. So now you can fix this and you got money for that. And that's where I really hope. But again, all that has been ever present in Jonathan Lee's mind and my mind, because we're trying to make a place that's got all this opportunity, you know, and that's a lot, someone will say, oh, you know, why do you need this and why do you need that? Well, you don't. But if you got it, you got a higher chance of, you know, keeping that full spectrum revenue going forward. And that's what we're gonna need. But again, you almost can't have enough importance to how a beautiful building with great flexibility can be used. Ideas, things that you can't even think of, you know, someone will come and say, hey, can we do this? And like, well, how much can you pay? Oh, well, it sounds great, you know, and you just keep that utilization high. And then we're gonna design in efficiency, every component of this thing that we can, electrical, heating and cooling, and even maintenance type things, there's all, I don't wanna get into everything, but there's all these things that we do to make the building easy to maintain, right? So there's a lot, I mean, I've got 40 years of, don't do that because there's a guaranteed pain, you know? You definitely wanna do that, it's way easier. And so that's what Jonathan and Jacob and you're gonna get all that baked into this building.
Any other questions or discussions? Okay, we thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Dolores. All righty.
Oh, we need a, yes, a roll call vote to do the motion to accept the plan, right?
Turd, aye. Vidal,
Yes.
Potter,
Yes.
Schlicker,
Yes,
Weiner,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
okay, I think that's it, isn't it, for?
Oh,
the
one last
architect.
thing. So if it's good with everyone, again, Carolyn's been spearheading this, but October 12th, 3 p.m. And then we're getting together some nice things. I'm still waiting for the Davises, I think is how you say their name. They have to get me the logo, and it's called Pantone colors, which are the actual colors of the ACCOA. And then, but we're gonna have a real nice ceremony, and it'll be kind of, those tend to be invite only, you know, I mean, not super fancy, but the idea is they tend to be more intimate. And then there's just kind of, just like a wedding ceremony, there's kind of a typical flow that they have, and we'll kind of follow that. My role would just kind of be the MC, and then each person will kind of do their thing. And that's, so if that was a problem, let us know, but we'll be kind of thinking about October 12th, 3 p.m.
You check the weather for that day?
I just get a kick out of the weatherman this morning while it was raining, said it was gonna be sunny, so that's.
Yeah, I understand it's only a guess, but I
But what it is I happen to have, I have about 30 umbrellas at my house. And so we'll set up, my father-in-law has a really nice, you know, not a tent, but a real nice enclosure.
I was gonna say, because I know some of the suppliers around here that supply, you know, building materials, they usually can protect for like 15 days out, so.
Yeah,
Pretty close.
yeah. But yeah, yep, so rain or shine, let's put it that way.
I don't see a problem making a motion. I'll make a motion that we set the official ground
I
date
will second it.
for October 12th. That's Thursday at 3 p.m.
all in favor? Oh, discussion on this? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Okay, 3 o'clock, October the 12th, at the new building site.
Yep, groundbreaking. Well, thanks so much, and we'll just keep plugging along.
Thank you.
We're gonna, you have one color set, did you mark that at all?
No, I didn't. You need
Yep, so let's leave that with them.
Okay.
And then, we'll be meeting, with, Don Gilnett and Alpina and, Harry Harvey, and just start that whole process. All right, have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Kim Fleming, would you like to give your report, please?
Sure. Anything that Caitlin can, or correct me. I attended the, my first meeting at, NERSCA at Region 9, yesterday, and as the delegate for Oklahoma County, and that was, I had my name tag, they approved it during the meeting, so then I could put my placard on there, so it's all official. We do still have another opening for Algonquin County from this center, either as a member at large, or I think another, I'm not sure if it's member at large or whatever, but we do have another opening available if anybody wants to attend those meetings. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities within it also. I'm always amazed when I go here of the reminders of how many services and how much assistance that NEMSCA provides through the various programs. So the speaker that we had yesterday was Ashley Gagnon, she's a financial coach, she's HUD certified. She heads up her area, provides financial assistance for homeless and prevention services. So I'll include some of that stuff in the newsletter here this month, but just so everybody knows, there is a whole division that helps with rent. It helps with even if there's landlord dispute, tenant dispute situation, you know, from homeless, I need assistance, to I've got a mortgage I can't pay anymore, you know, to into foreclosure. They do classes. She does one-on-one counseling and help people that way. So be awareness that that exists. Another new program that begins 10/1 is a water and sewer assistance program. So that's for bills. The person at NEMSCA to contact is Hector. So if you just call in regular number and ask about that begins October 1. In these meetings, every district or every COA gets to speak about, you know, what's going on in their areas, in their buildings, and many are experiencing the same issues that we have here in terms of hiring, you know, being short-staffed, the lack of available DCWs out in the world to help, and RNs as well. So it was sad but comforting to know that, you know, we're not the only ones that are going through that kind of turnover or just don't have applicants all the time for those positions. There is a DCW premium increase, or there will be in next fiscal, that Wendy's already aware of, at 80 cents an hour. So that helps. There were COVID reminders to just remind everyone that there is an increased number of infections, and that we should still be vigilant about that. I also have handouts that were given that I can include in our newsletter for that. There is still some uncertainty with the pending shutdown of how funding and things will be affected should that happen. I think I'm right, but you're the financial person. They said that the waiver program would be covered, or there's something about the waiver program would be able to continue through December, even if that happens.
The grant program.
Yeah, the grant program. Oh, okay, I got it wrong.
The grant programs.
The grant programs would be covered by the state if that should occur, but hopefully we won't need to worry about that. What else? I think those were some of the main takeaways. I didn't get all the details on the PACE. You want to think about that? No. There's a Medicare, Medicaid, it's a facility-based assistance for Medicare, Medicaid. It's called PACE. There is more information. I'll just have to get it out to you anyway. It's, they're going to be actually having a facility right on Ripley, where next to the Dollar Tree. So whatever that was there, it was an A&P at one time, then it was a restaurant, was it? In that shopping center. So they're gonna be taking over that building there. So that is in the future to come. And that's all I really had to report at this time. I did collect various flyers for the departments and the assistants, and I will put them in our newsletter for October.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions for Kim?
I don't have the answers.
Okay, thank you. Our NEMSCA representative?
Kim pretty much covered everything, but the only thing I did want to add about the possibility of the government shutdown, ACLS has informed us that we could get the first quarter of our statement of grant award for the grant programs. Waiver is uncertain at this time. We don't know how that will be handled, so, but we are open. We do know that we covered for the first quarter by ACLS for grant programs. And this week is our last week of this fiscal year, so we're starting our year-end process now, working to close out, so. That's all I have right now.
When does, if you don't mind me asking, when does everything have to be submitted to you for closeout?
Yeah, by the end of this week, we are trying to get everything in as close as possible, and then September financials aren't due until the 5th of October, so we, 5th of.
So we have basically up to the 5th to kind of get everything.
And then our final deadline for AP will be, October 10th.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone have any other questions?
I don't have any question, but I have a comment that it sounds like from talking to Wendy that NEMSA has been very, very accommodating, helping us get back into compliance, things that are going back for a year. So I'm sure I speak for the rest of the board. Thank you very much. I think they're working amazing a number of hours down there to get us back into compliance. So we appreciate your help.
Yes, we do appreciate it. Okay, Carolyn.
Yes, I just have a few things to share with you. It is budget time as it is here. It is also budget time at the county. Is that better?
Lights now.
I don't think they're working.
It is budget time at the county. It's coming up. We work on a January to December calendar. Pretty much so. We have a few things, just as you do, that are state oriented from October to September, but we are in the budget mood as you are here. Also, this is the beginning of the time, because October is the beginning of the state year, it is also the beginning and the awareness of grants and that type of thing that are available. And again, just as you do here, searching out for grants that are beneficial, the same is being done at the county level. One of the other things I do want to mention is the opioid group is resuming their monthly meetings tomorrow, in fact, tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. And there is Narcan available at the county building, the north exit entrance. And it is in what you'll say, well, that's nothing but an old newspaper box. You're correct. That is exactly what it is. And it is there. It's open. It's outside. So it's available 24/7. You'd be amazed at the legitimate reasons sometimes that Narcan is needed. Respectfully, I say sometimes elderly people and younger ones too, sometimes they forget they already took their medicine and they take a second dose. Excuse me. And it could cause a reaction that you would need Narcan for. Excuse me. Also, and this one kind of surprised me, you spill all your pills, your really hard pills. The dog eats them. You don't want to lose your dog. Narcan can be used with a dog. What I don't know is the weight ratio to the dog and if the adult were to take more than 5 pills of whatever it would be, that would have a negative effect. and might be 150 pounds if you have a 50-pound dog. And I don't know where that level breaks. The thing to always remember is that Narcan will not harm you if you don't need it. In other words, if you have not ingested medication that's potentially harmful or overdosed on it or whatever, it will not, and you think the person has, but they haven't, it is not harmful to utilize the Narcan. Also, although I'm sure you all keep your medications in a place where younger children cannot get them, or even adults, other adults who have less than good intentions. There are a surprising number of reasons that you may need to have to be able to get Narcan. All of our ambulances have it on board, and I believe all of our patrol cars have it on board. So it is there, it's available. Don't hesitate to use it. So that's, I guess, Chair, Acting Chair, that's about the extent of what I have from the county, but welcome to any questions that you all, the board may have.
Does anyone have any questions for Carolyn? Okay, thank you, Carolyn. We'll continue on for our executive director's report. Wendy?
Okay, I don't have a lot, but since the last board meeting, we have hired an RN and 2 new full-time DCW workers. We did meet with Neska, Caitlin, Yvette, and Jeff on Friday, and it was very, very positive meeting, I thought. They're really being patient with us moving forward. They are gonna come back in November, December, but I think they were happy with the progress that we've made so far. So, we got a small team, but we're doing the best that we can. And there's changes on their end with files and different things, so we're trying to not only get the files reassessed, we are updating the whole file system, so. Other than that, I think we're on track to get everything turned in by Friday, so we've been working on all of that. And then I had some information on our meals. We've had, for the month of August, we had 910 frozen meals go out, 1,943 hot meals, 305 stacked meals, and 414 congregate meals, which we're averaging 15 to 20 people a night on our congregate meals again. So we're doing pretty good. And then when I started, there was a board in the lobby area where I guess people have been putting suggestions for over a year of different kind of activities they would like to do. One of them was blood pressure testing. So Stan's sister's a nurse. She comes in every other Tuesday and does blood pressures, and she gets quite a bit of people that come in and do that. We've had a trivia day before dinner. Last week we did bingo one day before dinner. That seemed to be a lot of fun. And then we have chosen a new logo. Yes. So just now, we need to move forward with getting things updated and what all we need to do. I mean, I know it's gonna be a lot of work to change everything, so we just gotta start taking the steps to move forward to do that. And then the last thing I have is, just asking the board, I've been working with Bob, Carolyn and Gary for the financial committee, for an extension to have the budget completed by the January board meeting instead of this board meeting.
I guess I will make a motion to, before you in your packet, there's a sheet with the proposed thing that we're gonna bring before the Board of Commissioners next Wednesday, so my motion is going to be to accept and allow Wendy to present that and continue and finish, try to get the budget process nailed down by January of for January 2024.
I'll second that.
Any questions or discussion on that?
Yeah, that, it kind of goes along with the committee report that the finance committee went over the proposed budget. And it is prepared sufficiently to prepare to give to the commissioners. So that we would recommend that the board does that. And then the entire budget, which includes things that aren't millage related, that's what they're requesting, a little bit more time to complete. They haven't gotten paid from certain things that they're waiting on payments, and still some more hiring, hopefully more direct care workers. So it really would just benefit them a little bit rather than giving us an entire budget that's off, just to give them a little bit more time to get that. But the budget using millage funds will be submitted to the commissioners, and we have an inside voice on the commissioners. We think that's going to be sufficient for their needs.
I would also request it to be a roll call vote.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Potter,
Aye.
Schlicker,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Weinar,
Yes.
Banach,
Yes.
Turek, yes.
Okay, everyone was in favor of it down here? Okay. Okay, now we'll have the,
I would one more comment, question for Wendy. Several months ago, before you were here, we had inquired as to what our waiting list was for clients wanting to get in-home services. And at one meeting, it was told us it was 0. And then, after that, we were told that it was up to 5. And I think the board took action authorizing you to raise the pay to try to get direct care workers to fulfill that need, providing these services. Now, the amount is up to,
It was roughly around 20. Ivy's been reaching out to some of the clients that were on the list. Of course, some of them unfortunately have passed away since then. Others now may have family members who are assisting them, so they don't need assistance. I know right now, I believe out of 8 that she contacted last week, she was able to do assessments on 4 of them. So now we just are getting them their direct care worker, and they'll be on our programs.
so you have actually been able to hire one direct care worker, you have another one coming in. So that increase in the number of people waiting isn't due to us having less direct care workers. We've had no layoffs or resignations there. It's the fact that people are, for whatever reason, either coming forward and saying, I need these services. For whatever reason, they're coming forward now that they weren't coming forward a couple months ago, but you're taking efforts to try to address that.
Right.
I would like to know, I think it'd be good to have it in public, what are we offering the direct care workers in the way of salary and compensation?
Well, they get their flat salary, and then on top of that, they would get the premium pay. which is, at this moment, is $2.35, and as of October 1st, it's going up, I believe it's 85 cents, so it'll be $3.20. And then they also get paid mileage, so they're getting pretty decent money.
Yeah, so I mean, we are making an effort to try to fill those, to get those people the services they want. It's just as they said and Kim said, I mean, it's difficult hiring these workers,
Right.
finding these workers. But we'll do it, you'll do it, I'm sure.
Now, if the direct care workers, they're going to that home, they're getting this extra money, the premium pay. Do the meal drivers that's going in that same home, do they get that extra pay?
No, it's a state funded for direct care workers only.
Is there any way that we can ask for extra pay for those two meal drivers? Because they're going into that same home in a lot of cases and exposing themselves to any COVID or anything that might be in there.
I mean, it would be up to us, I think, if we wanted to increase their pay, but this is a special fund from this government that is given to, I mean, it's not just us, it's everywhere. They get
Across the
to-
board?
Yeah, it's just across the board for the direct care workers.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question, have you been getting any feedback as far as the activities that are going on at Meal Night? Does it seem to be very positive, and do you think that would help increase participation?
Like doing the activities before.
Well,
Um,
has that been, have you been getting positive feedback on that?
Yeah, I mean, like Dolores, Rollins, they have their table, they have a group, they're always here. They hash out things at their table amongst them. Actually, last week, we had the sheriff and, the AAA credit union over here. And we had I mean, we weren't packed, but we had a good group in here. And they talked about fraud. So we've been trying to do the activities like starting around 3:30 or so. And then they kind of lead into dinner and then people stay for dinner, so.
I have a question on that. Those surveys that we did last week, the week before, how they come out?
I'm not sure what service.
There's, well, the last one, so we cut, one meal, we just have 3 meals a week, it's still 4. And evidently, they must have thrown those away, you didn't see them.
I was gonna say, I wasn't aware of any surveys.
You
No.
I don't know what happened.
It was on the table, the survey was. Well, you can maybe check into that. and
Yeah.
See what that's all about. I do have one report, our pop-up pantry. We had 269 cars go through with a total of 534 people. So we served a lot of people that day. We did run out of quite a bit of food. We had a few little things left over. And, which I brought some of them here to the senior center and the people had a chance to take, what they wanted. But we did have 269 cars, which is not average, but it's quite a few. And also tonight, I believe Fairman is coming. Are you coming tonight, Fairman? He's gonna entertain us with balloon tricks.
Okay.
That is tonight though, right?
Now that you remind me, yep.
And if anyone has any ideas on, things that we can do to entertain the people that come, or, some kids to sing, or dance or games, whatever, we're open to have, you know, a lot of this going on, and like Wendy was saying, we had our card bingo the other day. And none of us really knew what we were doing, but we sure had fun doing it. And, the people, you know, that come to eat, they stayed to eat. And it wasn't a large crowd, but if each one of them, maybe next time will bring a friend, we'll get this off the table and keep going on it. So that's all I've got. Let's see, the treasurer's report. Do we have a treasurer's report?
No,
Don't have that today. How about secretary's report?
We have one executive committee decision that we need to put for a vote in front of the entire board. So I'm going to make a motion that we ratify as an entire board the 14th of December executive committee action that was held. The exact words are, therefore, the ACCOA Executive Committee via the following vote authorizes the calling of a special meeting of the entire ACCOA board to take place on Friday, September 15th at a time yet to be determined. So I would make that motion that we ratify that executive committee action.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Dr. Turk, should we also, include the one on the
19th?
on the 19th as well?
No, this is the only executive committee
Okay,
action we need to do.
all right.
Do we need roll call on that, or?
It wouldn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. Turek, aye. Banach,
Yes.
Schlicker,
Yes,
Potter.
aye,
Weiner,
Yes.
Lynch.
yes,
And then the remainder, what I have to talk about, I can do in the committee reports in just a second.
okay, well, committee reports is next, so,
Finance Committee obviously approved the budget for submission to the commissioners that we talked about. The Policies and Procedures kind of Personnel Committee is going over the new employee handbook and kind of going over the last minute changes as to adjustments there that are going to help numerous different things. They just found out in NEMSCA audit that some of the things that we've had in the past have been a potential problem. So those will be corrected. And then nominating committee, the voting continues until about tomorrow night at 5 o'clock for the regular election for board members. That's all I have.
are we requesting the candidates be here for tomorrow night? Or
I haven't.
not
I
necessary.
can ask
if they
them.
want, they can, okay,
I think two of them all four are right here, so, yeah. So,
okay. Okay, is that all of your report,
go ahead.
Dr. Drury? Any other committee reports? How about, is there any unfinished business?
The last item that Patty drew up, it's kind of the reason why Rollin doesn't really have a treasurer's report. This is an updated accounting that of the expenditures on the building project thus far. And of course, this does not include the $247,000 that was spent that could not be reimbursed, that previous architect charges, developer charges. So it does not include that 247,000. But if you go to the back page, there's a line in yellow that was 87,270. That was basically previous expenses that were able to be reimbursed. That the down below that is the 403,990. That's basically the current expenses that Andy has spent thus far. So a total of deductible that we're able to get reimbursed from the new building funds, the grant funds, is $491,261.25. So that's where we're at right now. I didn't ask Andy, but Andy still thinks we're kind of basically ahead of budget. He said everything has been perfect with the exception of finding those debris pits. One they knew about the big one that I didn't even know about the other two till yesterday. So, but he still thinks we're just way ahead of where he probably had in his mind where we were at. So that's a total accounting of what the building project has spent to date.
Okay, thank you. Any other unfinished business? Any new business? Okay, we'll have a public comment again with 2 minutes. Anyone wishing to say anything?
Yes, thank you. Marty Katsara from Haines Township. Just a couple things. I was impressed by the reports done by the builder and the architects, and I liked the builder's comment about keeping a smart eye on the building. And, with regard to snow loads, natural lighting, et cetera. I wondered if there was any talk about having focus attention to night sky issues with lighting, outdoor lighting, if anyone has brought that up at all. Michigan has become one of the largest night sky states, and I think that would be maybe a feather in our cap for our community center if we also had that as one of our items that we were paying attention to. And also if you'd have any future rumblings about, once we get it all done, thinking about solar energy for our community. And I think that was about it, other than, as I mentioned, it would be nice to have the outlay, the building outlay put in our local newspaper. And also it would be nice to have some kind of accounting, financial accounting put out to all of the community to let them know where we're at with our $12.5 million grant and how we're managing it and how we're moving forward with it. And I noticed that there were going to be some housing areas built. I noted that on the back side of the drawing, and there was another exit other than the one on Barlow Road. And I wondered if that was specifically for the future housing site so that those people can come in and out without coming through the community center. So thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, we'll have, Wendy, do you have any more comments?
No, it's for us.
Hmm?
That's for the board members.
Oh,
Board members.
okay, does
Board director.
any other board members have anything else?
I would mention that Andy is very accommodating. Anybody that ever wants to go down there and basically get a tour and talk to him, he's more than open. Of course, we as board members all can be reached via our phone numbers or emails. Anybody has questions about anything, but Andy is certainly very accommodating. I know he feels like sometimes he's given a tour every day to somebody, but if not board members, to members of the community. So he is very happy to say what they're doing.
I went down there the other day and he wanted to show me something, so we walked over to a spot, he had his laser set up. And he said, I'll show you something here that blew him away. He said, it's gonna blow you away too, and I went, all right. We stood there and he said, we're on grade, and the beeper was going off. Probably 100 yards away. It was beep, 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 beep. He said, let's walk over here a minute. So I walked over there and he said, you see anything different? And I'm like, no, we're still perfect. And he said, no, this is a mystery spot on this site. I said, what? He said, you hear the beep? And I said, no. So he raised it up and he raised it up and he raised it up. He got to about 5 foot and it went off. And I said, what? He said, you're about 5 foot below grade right here. I said, there's no way. He said, lasers don't lie. And that was really weird because without that laser, I thought we were still perfectly flat. And yet, and he said, we have to bring Phil in here. He said, I walked this site over and over. He said, to make sure everything is on grade. And I said, thank you. Thank you for, you know,
Yeah.
and it was just a weird situation. So Andy, like Dr. Turek said, is very accommodating, will talk, sit down and talk to you, he'll take the time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. That's all I have.
Thank you. No other comments? Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Stan. Stan Weiner has been on our board, I'm thinking 9 years already. And he decided not to run this time. He's gonna call it quits. So we wanna thank you, Stan. We appreciate all your help all these years. We also have a cake. My neighbor Ann McCoy made got a cake and decorated it, and we got cake downstairs if anyone would like to come down and have a piece of cake and say thank you to Stan. Is there,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
any, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
You're still. So, you know.
Do you want this stuff or do you want this downstairs? How are you today?